Things have gotten really tense for the Ravens, and this Tuesday brought news no one in Baltimore wanted to hear. The Steelers' win directly shook up the standings, cranked up the pressure, and made an already narrow path even tighter. All of a sudden, time feels short, the margin of error is basically gone, and every single game now carries the weight of a must-win situation. What makes this even more worrying is that it's no longer just about what the Ravens do. The Steelers now control part of the destiny. Upcoming results can flip everything in a hurry, and one slip-up could be fatal before the final week even arrives. The picture is more dangerous, more unpredictable, and understanding this helps explain why this Tuesday set off such a loud alarm for the rest of the season. Think about it like this. While the Steelers were out there in prime time, beating the Dolphins on Monday Night Football, the Ravens were stuck watching the standings get worse. Nothing changed for Baltimore, but everything improved for Pittsburgh. That win kept the Ravens one game back in the AFC North with only 3 weeks left, and that completely changes the weight of every game from here on out. There's no room anymore for mistakes, or we'll fix it later. Every game has turned into a straight-up decision, almost like an early playoff matchup. A loss isn't just a loss anymore. It's a massive step toward falling out of race. The pressure keeps building because the clock is ticking and the chance to recover is disappearing fast. The real issue is that the Ravens don't fully control their own fate. Even when they win, they still have to keep an eye on what the Steelers are doing. That makes everything more stressful because playing well isn't enough. You also have to hope your rival stumbles. When a season reaches this point, every small detail suddenly matters a lot more. And that's exactly where the story starts to get even more complicated. Winning games becomes mandatory, but even then, nothing is guaranteed. And that leads directly into the next question. How much winning over the next few weeks will actually be enough to save this season? Now comes the part that sounds confusing, but it's actually pretty simple. The Ravens basically need to win almost every game they have left. Patriots on the road, Packers on the road, and then the Steelers. On paper it sounds manageable, but in reality it's a brutal stretch, with no easy matchups and zero room to slip. Even if Baltimore does its job against the Patriots and Packers and gets to 9 wins, the problem still isn't solved. The division could still slip away. That's because the scenario doesn't depend only on what the Ravens do on the field, but also on what Pittsburgh doesn't do. It's like running a perfect race and still needing the runner next to you to trip. That's the hardest part of the situation right now. Winning doesn't bring immediate relief. It just keeps hope alive for one more week. With every win, the team can breathe for a moment, but never relax. It feels like constantly chasing, always trying to fix something that went wrong way back at the start of the season. And while the Ravens are living on this tightrope, their rival is in a very different spot. Because on the other side, the team that truly controls the situation is Pittsburgh, and that completely changes the weight of what's coming next. From Pittsburgh's perspective, things are much simpler. Even with a tough short week game against the Lions, the Steelers know exactly what they need to do. They don't need help from anyone else. Just win when it matters, and the plan works. The picture is clear. If the Steelers beat the Ravens in Week 18, the division is theirs. It doesn't matter what happened before. It doesn't matter if they lost a game along the way. That head-to-head matchup flipped everything. And Pittsburgh goes into it knowing they hold all the cards. That creates a massive difference in pressure between the two teams. Baltimore enters every game thinking, we can't mess this up. Pittsburgh enters thinking, if we take care of business, this is over. That mental edge matters a lot at this point in the season, especially with the calendar running out. And this reality squeezes the Ravens even tighter, because there's no comfortable backup plan. The wild card route, which could have been an escape, has basically vanished, and that's where the situation turns even more brutal.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important, because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
While the Ravens were trying to stay alive, other teams did exactly what Baltimore couldn't afford. The Chargers, Bills, and Texans all won and opened up a gap that's just too big. That pushed the Ravens almost completely out of the wild card conversation without much debate. In practical terms, that means there's no alternate road to playoffs anymore. There's no sneak into the side door scenario. That door is closed. Now there's only one way in, and it goes straight through winning the division. That kind of situation changes everything. Games stop being just important and become essential. It's no longer about improving or building confidence. It's about survival. One loss doesn't just complicate things. It can almost end all hope before Week 18 even arrives. And when a team reaches this point, there's always the same quiet question in the background. How did it get this hard? The answer is back at the start of the season, and it explains why the Ravens are sprinting so hard right now. That 1-4 start that once felt far away is now haunting everything. Every loss back then has turned into extra weight now, when there's no margin left. The Ravens spent the whole season trying to recover, but they got there too late to truly control their fate. Now the team has to win, hope the rival loses, and rely on very specific combinations of results. It's not an ideal situation for anyone, especially not for a team that expected to be firmly in the playoff picture at this point of the year. What's left is focusing on the basics. Win the next game, then the one after that, and keep hope alive until Week 18. It's not pretty, it's not comfortable, but it's the only road available. One moment of distraction can end everything before the final week. This final stretch has become a test of endurance, patience, and focus. The Ravens don't have the luxury of choice anymore, only obligation. And all of this is a direct result of the start that forced the team to chase them behind all the way to the final seconds of the regular season. The reality right now is simple and brutal for the Ravens. The Steelers win tighten the picture, slash the margin for error, and put Baltimore in a full-on race against time. Every game is a decision. Every out-of-town result matters. And the entire season has been compressed into these final steps toward Week 18. The big question is whether this team can respond under maximum pressure, win when it absolutely cannot afford mistakes, and keep hope alive until the final showdown with Pittsburgh. There's still a path, but it's narrow, dangerous, and unforgiving. One slip and it's over. And that leads to the question that defines everything. Do you still believe the Ravens can survive until Week 18 and flip the script against the Steelers? Because that answer starts getting written in the very next game, when the season officially turns into all or nothing.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.